here with Emree Woods of Rightside Brewing Company. How are you doing today?
Good. How are y'all?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us. So
My pleasure.
tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. I'm Emree. I am the founder of Rightside Brewing. We're a line of craft non-alcoholic beer headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia. And I have two little kids, which are kind of the muse for the brand. They're 3 and 5.
Tell us how Rightside came to be.
Yeah. Back in 2017, I was pregnant with my daughter, and my husband and I had always gone to breweries before as kind of a social outing. And I realized kind of how limiting the experience was for people that weren't drinking. And I have a lot of people in my life that kind of stopped drinking and turned to NABeer. And so I did the same. And back then, I was just not incredibly excited about the options. And I was like, there has to be a way to make like a craft style beer that doesn't have alcohol if they can make other beers that don't have alcohol, right? So I went down this long and windy path to try to come up with a craft style non-alcoholic beer. And the timing proved to be pretty perfect because at the same time, a lot of other people were wanting kind of more options as well. And so I think that the market is just kind of very thirsty for products like this. And of course, other brands have come out that are awesome and just elevating the category. So it's been a really fun journey. Obviously, a lot of trials and tribulations too, but I also have a background in beverage. I've worked in beverage for 6 years, mostly on the finance and commercial finance side, but I felt like I had enough experience to kind of at least try it and learn along the way. So here we are today, 2023, and Rightside's almost 2 years old.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And how do you think the response has been? Because we too have a lot of friends that for a variety of reasons have decided that they want to drink less or not at all. And so I think you're right. I think you're ahead of the game in that there is a market for that. But also, how do you feel the response has been?
Yeah, I mean, so it's so different now than it was 3 years ago. Like 3 years ago, people looked at me like I had 3 heads and they were like, good luck with that. And, I don't quite understand it. And now it's just incredible. I think people ask me what the best part of doing this is, and it's 100% the community behind the movement and the people and the lives that are just improved and enhanced through just better options for a variety of reasons, to your point. So the response has been awesome. And it's so amazing when you see people with sips to lips and just kind of the skepticism on their face before they taste it. And then once they taste it, they're like, oh my gosh, this is an IPA. Like this is an actual IPA. So that reception's been incredible too.
Yeah, my husband loves IPAs, and he's had occasions where, for a variety of reasons, taking medication or something, he can't drink. And so, yeah, it's the whole, I'd rather drink water. This is so awful. And then he's found a couple in our local area that are tolerable, but he said, actually, they were pretty good. And we tried the one the other day and we're like, I couldn't tell the difference, but I'm not an aficionado on the beer style, but it was flavorful and had all the qualities that I think you would need.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that was holding the category back so much, is not only maybe the market at the time, but also just like the way it was, just the options that were available. And I think now it's just so different. And I promise that if I were I still tell myself I'm going to do this, and I keep thinking about it, but do blind taste tests. I did one and they couldn't tell. So it's pretty neat.
That's awesome.
That is great.
So how do you make a non-alcoholic beer? Is it something that the alcohol is taken out after? How does that work?
Yeah, so there's multiple ways to make it. I don't think there's one right way necessarily. But I do really kind of enjoy our beer. So I'm biased, obviously. So we remove the alcohol through filtration. So we brew it to a full beer. So it has all of the components of a real beer. And then we take out the alcohol in a very gentle way through filtration that preserves that original taste, flavor, and aroma of the beer. So what all the filtration is taking out is water and alcohol, which is at least the idea. And then you recarb it and you add water and then recarb it, and you're left with a great tasting non-alcoholic beer.
So it's sort of like, I would guess, when you're cooking a sauce with alcohol and you reduce it down, the alcohol eventually goes away to a great degree. So,
and actually that is a different method.
If
you're feeling like, yeah, that one would be removing through heat, right? So, but to your point, it's the same. It's just how you remove it. But that's another way of making it.
Because when we first started looking into this, we were surprised that you put the alcohol in first and then took it out.
Right. But, and some breweries don't do that. Some people brew to zero. So there are different ways of making the non-alc beers.
I noticed that you have two different styles of beers, like on your website. You specific in those? Like you wanted an IPA and, or were they just your favorites and that's what you started with?
Yeah, my intention from the beginning. And again, it's like such a different market now than it was back in 2017 when this was just a dream. But I was like, being craft and non-alcoholic is extremely different at the time, at least. And so I wanted broad flavor appeal for a craft style beer. So obviously an IPA is, the most popular craft beer style. So I knew I wanted that, but I also felt like to be a little bit different, something lighter in style, a little bit, just I think obviously a wheat is also very popular. And so I think it threw people off that we launched with a wheat. But really that was because, I enjoy that style, but also I think, a lot of other people would enjoy kind of that lighter bodied, flavor.
Well, IPA is really an acquired taste, I will say.
It's different for everybody. I mean, I definitely enjoy our IPA. But I think it's like I've gotten a lot of people that are turned off by IPA, so they like our wheat better. And it's crazy. Like I just did a trip to Tennessee and we were sampling with a lot of different liquor stores and package stores. And it was like a 50-50, like what the preference was there. So it's kind of, it definitely, like our sales too, 50-50 split on the wheat and IPA. So I think we did a good job on, figuring out which flavors to launch with.
Now, are you, obviously, I assume you are looking to new styles. I know sours are really popular in the craft beer world. All right. You probably can't tell us exactly, but are you looking towards some new styles here now that you sort of got this figured out?
Yes. So one thing I love about our process is the way we do it is that because it's so gentle with alcohol removal, it makes it relatively easy to experiment with new styles. I think one thing is, we just moved to a new brewery and now we have a lot more ability to do R&D. Before we were at a larger contract brewer, and they were fantastic and wonderful, especially in our R&D process, which is not like their bread and not what they market themselves to be, right? So I'm just so appreciative to them, but I also am excited for the R&D capability at our new brewery, and they're excited about it as well. So I definitely think we'll have at least one or two limited time offers coming out this year.
So now you're in Atlanta. Now, are you a little bit north of Atlanta?
We are brewed in Kennesaw, Georgia, which is a little bit north of Atlanta. We're kind of headquartered, which is honestly just my house in Atlanta. So yeah, I kind of work out of Atlanta mostly, but it's a hop, skip, and a jump away to kind of saw where I can kind of interact with the brew
Now,
team and
do you have
bartenders.
are you just available so do you have a tasting room yet, or do you go around to festivals and et cetera for tastes and?
Yeah, I think so we don't have a tasting room. I am really fortunate at Dry County where we're brewed that they have us available in their tap room. So it's nice for people that it's very different in Georgia because of the alcohol laws. If you don't produce a beer in your brewery, you can't serve it if you have a brewer's license. So like we're not able to say to the brewery down the street, like, do you want to carry us? Which is unfortunate because right. I think a lot of breweries would 100% want to offer an NABeer and not go through kind of maybe, the learning curve of making an NABeer.
I did look briefly at our local stores here in Louisiana. And again, and we tell all our viewers, the law is different in every state. I guess it would be export import law is different, where you can buy things. I came from a state originally where you had to go to a package store and buy it there. In Louisiana, you can buy beer and wine in the grocery stores, but they can only have certain, you have to be through distributor. How can we find your beer?
So nice. So we are unfortunately not distributed in Louisiana yet, but certainly on the radar because my goal is to kind of build a southeastern footprint for the brand. But we are online and can ship to Louisiana. And so you can go to rightsidebrewing.com and buy beer there. But right now we are available in stores in Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, and North Carolina.
Oh, that's great. So it's getting there.
It's getting there.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Can you ship across the country, or just if I went to your website, I could look and see if my state would, because we have viewers everywhere. So
right. We ship to all states in the United States. So you can buy us online wherever you are.
Awesome.
Great. Now, I did like your approach that because we do realize that drinking is a social activity, and we go play trivia at a cider place, and so I noticed that one of your goals was to remove the stigma of not drinking, which is what we agree. I mean, yesterday we posted, it's none of your business why your friend isn't drinking, because and the assumption is, oh, well, you must be an alcoholic. That's the problem. Like, you have a problem with alcohol. You could be pregnant. You could be taking medication. You could just not feel it.
Yeah.
Right.
So what would tell us a little bit about your impetus to do that. And if you found that to be true, obviously, when you were pregnant, and then what sort of steps do you recommend for people to avoid that stigma, or to support that everybody should have fun drinking, just whatever you're drinking, I guess.
Right. Completely. I think, and that is such an amazing question, honestly. I think it's changing a little bit. I hope, at least the circles I surround myself with, it's changing. Where, people are just less concerned about what you're drinking and why you're not drinking and whatever. But I completely agree that it's no one's business. I do think it's helpful to have kind of maybe something in your back pocket so you're not caught off guard. But I think really my utopia would be just where people are drinking whenever they're drinking. It doesn't matter. And I think that by offering options like this, that becomes way more possible because people feel like they can participate in the social experience of having a beer, and it doesn't matter if it has alcohol in it or not, and you're still kind of the same as everybody else.
It is really nice to have options, and I have a lot of friends who have recently become like sober or things like that, and they feel like they can't socialize anymore. Like they don't go out and do stuff. And so I think this is a great option for them to feel comfortable and to be able to stay on their path, but still be able to come and socialize at an event or, at someone's home. Like, I think it's amazing that these options are available and that they taste good,
Right. Yeah. And I think that was really, the craft beer movement changed what beer tasted like across the board. I mean,
Exactly.
that was what the innovation and everything is. And it's exciting to me to see the same is happening, that craft beer makers and the way you build craft breweries are now carrying that same innovation forward. It's really
exactly
nice.
I love that word, innovation, because I think to me it's just kind of creating a different experience with kind of what was maybe a category that needed some innovation, you know.
Yeah, we were shocked when we decided to do this series for January. We were shocked to see that there were so many more options just in the last 6 months to a year. They're
crazy.
It's
great.
So now, is there a NABeer or a NA spirits alcohol group? Like, do you have your own sort of association, or
so there's
craft brewers, or
so there's actually it's a group called ANBA, Adult Non-Alcoholic Beverage Association, and that's for industry professionals that are in this category. And it's been such a great community of leaders and truthfully pioneers in the category that are all just kind of lifting each other up and supporting each other to create just a better category for non-alcoholic beverages. And then there's also like really active, I love these Facebook groups for consumers and aficionados of the non-alcoholic industry. So there's a non-alcoholic spirits Facebook group and a non-alcoholic beer Facebook group. There's multiple, but there's a couple. One just reached 23,000 members on Facebook.
Oh, wow.
With a bunch of different recipes. It's amazing.
So, and this is, so if you're a home brewer, can you make your own non-alcoholic beer?
There's also a Facebook group for that, and it's called NA Homebrewers.
There's a Facebook group for everything.
Yes. I mean, and what's great is, that is a platform that allows for people to just really get together and be curious. So I think that's great.
All right. Awesome. So we'll put your website up for those folks who want more information. If you're in the Atlanta area, you should definitely stop to now. If I wanted to get it on tap in Atlanta, I would go to Dry County Brewing.
Yeah, you can go to Dry County, and we're also on tap this month at several Taco Macs. I don't know the specific locations, but you can check our store finder for more updates. And Westside Pizza, which we just had our Dry January kickoff, they're having us on tap the whole month of January. I think we're the only NA beer on tap.
Oh, congratulations.
Too, so
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Great. And we're looking forward to seeing you in Louisiana.
Thank you. Me too.
I'm sure there are opportunities for coming down, and if you are a bar or a location here, if you're a bar owner and you want to provide this, they just get in touch with you directly, or how does that work?
Yes, you can go on our website to contact us in the wholesale. We have a wholesale platform, and that would be the best way. But if you're a fan of Rightside, you can also go on our website to Store Finder and request Rightside near you.
Okay,
awesome.
Great. Well,
thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it.